Creating Fabs for Sunshade brackets. This video is a continuation of our previous videos when we explain how to create Fabs for sunshade brackets and steel and shop-use brake shapes. Some of the questions that we are going to be answering in this video will come from previous video. So make sure you are following the right path until this point. When we are creating sunshade brackets, it is important to understand that at this point, you already have a horizontal detail and a vertical detail created as a layout. In this example, we have the sunshade bracket created. It is important to understand that a clear detail will help you to see if any changes or minor fixes needed in the holes and the dimensions. A clear layout will help you to understand the logic for the cut size, the notches, and the hole and dimensions. When you are creating your Fabs for sunshade brackets, it's important to get all the information that you need, as you are going to include completed dimensions, cut size, thickness and material, the notch sizes and holes placings with the dimensions from the edge, and you are going to be using the right diameter holes. Remember to use the Walt standard shop drill and punch size for fasteners. In case you have a countersink hole, remember to add the countersink node with the direction of the arrow pointing to the countersink drill in the appropriate location. Let's gonna see an example of what is needed in your brake ship. In the following part, Fab, you're gonna notice like we have dimensions from the back of the part in top view. As you can see, it is important the orientation in the top view and adding the dimensions from the back of the part to what you are dimensioning. In this case, for example, the notches, the holes, and the holes for the fasteners at the attachment. It is important to include the dimensions from the top to the bottom in the horizontal view. As in this example, we have a bottom node and we have the dimensions from the top to each single fastener coming from top to the fastener in the top to the bottom direction. That apply for all our notches and all dimensions that we are adding. Remember to use the X title border number 4, like the single item, as you can see here, and the red rectangle, and use the tolerance table or tolerance table as you are included in your Fab. Remember, on this occasion, we're going to be using decimal units in the Fabs. Always indicate the bottom and add an ISO view in the assembly part. Because sunshade brackets are a painted part or post-painted, it is important to add a node finish all surface as is described below. So let's get started and see an example on how to create a Fab for a sunshade bracket. As we previously mentioned in the other videos, at this point, you already have a great or a clear layout for your sunshade bracket. In this occasion, we're going to be creating the W755696. So the first step is to get the die. Remember, as we did it with the steel and the sunshade brackets or shop-use brake ships, you're going to find into the parts library all the list of your parts. In this case, we are searching for parts. We are making clear we are in Walt directory, and then we find for the right part, W755696. So we hit OK. When you're placing your sunshade bracket, it is important to get the right direction. So when you click it, as this, you notice like my countersink hole, it's coming from the top, and then the direction is X and Y. This is an incorrect direction if I want to get it looking from the top. So first of all, I need to rotate the part to be pointing into the right direction. So these sunshade brackets, I need to turn on all the layers right here. There you go. So first of all, you need to rotate the part, like rotate RO. Oh, still lock. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, it's unlock. If you're doing this, don't worry, you're gonna be dealing with this. This is only an AutoCAD problem. So now you are rotating the part. So you click at the part and then you rotate it in this way here. Now I'm pointing to the direction down. And then I need to mirror because I'm going to extrude it from the bottom to the top in the C direction. So take in consideration that this is the right or the proper location or view when you are working with your fabs. So now that I have my die, I'm going to use the command W block, as we previously discussed in other videos. Select the part and find the right directory for my break shapes. So if I go to the mockup, drafting, takeoff, fabs, and dies, and I need to save it with the right name. So in this case, I type the name of the die, W75 5696. So if I click OK, save, and hit OK. It is asking me to replace the existing one. I already have one. So I'm going to just click on replace. And there you go. With that in mind, I don't need this part. So now the second step, it's creating the beam model. Remember that we are previously tagged all the Sunshade brackets in the right location. So we only need to QBeam, use the QBeam command and click on QBeam. And then I have my part created. Now it's time to start working with the nodes and all the information for my fab. So if you go here to open fab template, I'm going to have the right location of all this part. So I can close my beam model at the back because I don't need it. And now I can start adding the dimensions, adjusting the views, and adding the holes. Just in order to understand what we're going to do is just only show you how to add a hole and a notch in this. But the proper of your exercise is to complete the fab. And that fab looks like the following one that we already described it here. It looks like this one here. So remember, you need to follow this instruction in order to get the proper locations for your fabs. So with that in mind, how do we add a hole? So let's gonna see how do we add a hole. If we go to the back, you're gonna see like we have the directions pointing as we already described. So if we go to the top view, you can use an AutoCAD commands. You call it objects for 3D tools and coordinations phase. So I'm gonna select the phase where I wanna add that hole. So I know I'm gonna be using the B groups here. So when I click on this face, everything that I'm going to be drawing here is going to be on this face. So I know my fasteners, it's a diameter 0.290. You can double check if you are working in your fabs. And then I'm going to extrude that particular hole in any dimension. I'm going to use 1 there. So now what I need to do is follow what it's on the drawings. So if I go to my details, like file 1, when it was my Sunshade bracket, there you go. So I know like I'm using the B group to do the fasteners and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes with the same diameter. And the spacing, it varies according with this detail. So it's only to incorporate from the edges 1 inch, 1.5 and 1 inch. So let's gonna follow that pattern. So one very quick trick you can follow, it's when you select the part and if you go to this to wireframe, change to wireframe, and then you are gonna see a gizmo or a 3D arrow with the colors. And this is very good because when you move only with the arrows of the colors, you can move the part only in that direction and make sure you're moving into the right position. So I move it to align with the B group. So now I'm moving the red line and it's moving only on that direction. So now that I'm checking this part, I see I already have, and if I do the notches, it's gonna be in the right position. Now I need to position that one as it was previously discussed. So if I go here 1 inch, I can do the notch. So the tool to create a notch is go here, create notch, and it's asking for the main extrusion, and then click second on the notch you're desiring to do, and asking if you want to create a notch, and I say yes, so I have a notch. So one very easy way to double check it's if I change to X-ray view, and I will see the notches. For example, I already know like I'm gonna having a holes or not a hole notch for this at 1 inch of the end. So what I'm gonna do is go to the notch on the left and then create a mirrored copy of that notch. And then I go to the part, I click on to the part, and I select paste the notch. Because I mirrored that notch, automatically it's gonna be at the same distance of the other part. So you can continue your exercise, adding all the notches as required, following this logic on how to create a notch and following the tools that we have in Walt and Wolf. If you click on the part and hit refresh, you'll notice you have right now 2 notches. It is important that you can add information in the notches in order to don't get confused. What are you doing? For example, I'm adding the diameter of the notches or the hole in this case to identify what I'm doing. If you want to recycle or reuse one particular notch, just only click onto the notch, right click and click insert, and automatically will create your new notch in the same position. So if I move it now 1.5 inch from where it was previously located, I can add the same notch again and repeatedly creating into the part and creating notches and notches as I need it. So as you can see here, you're gonna notice like the notch is created there and you're having here. Another excellent tool you can continue doing, it's using the hatch faces, which is gonna help you to create a hatch with the face you're selecting. So you click hatch faces, you select the solid face you want to hatch, click enter and see what is happening now in the view. You have a line in that view. So it's only, so we have all that information. So now you can continue the exercise in order not to make this video too long, but remember that our dimension is coming from the back to the center line. So I have this. It is important to remember that we are not going to be use fractional dimensions. In this case, only for Sunshade, we use decimals. How do we change that? Well, first of all, you select the dimensions you are using. In this case, I'm using 1. And then if I go here and I click on manage dimension style, I select 1 because that's the one that I'm going to be using. And I click on modify. I go here to primary units and I change for decimal. And then I change to 3 parts. And then I click into OK and close it. It will change automatically. When you are creating a Sunshade bracket, it's important to follow exactly what you have on the parts because the vendor is going to use it later to create the parts. So they use our model and it should be accurate. For example, you'll notice like we have a countersink hole at the back of the Sunshade bracket, and it's for the attachment or position in place. So it's important to model your Sunshade bracket with that particular notch. So that's going to be another tool you have to follow in the same logic. So make sure to follow all what you need in order to create, and make sure you're adding all the information that you wanted. As you can see, we already have a partial part of the fab, but as you continue adding those nodes, you will notice like your fab, it's taking more clear details about how to create a part. So this is what it's to create a Sunshade bracket fabs. I hope you can continue the video and the rest of the training, creating the entire fab in order to get the proper view like we have already here. Remember to add the note for the countersink hole, the note for the notches or the hole diameters. And if you have any additional notch, it's important to include that one. We don't use angles for notches because we use liner dimensions. So you can adjust those lines and then see where they're intersecting and see the dimensions there. Finally, something I wanted to mention in this video is like we are having an Autodesk Inventor profile already created only for a couple of parts. So use the actual library to see if any of the Sunshade bracket parts being created. So if so, make sure to fill out the data and then adjust the cut size, the holes and the notches as is described in the picture. If the part is not yet created, then you are not going to be able to use the library. So make sure to create a new part in this case. But that's a different video, how to create a Sunshade bracket in Inventor, completely different. So don't worry in this video. And if you want to see how to export the part as a CAD files when it's created, well, you can see the video 5.2 and it still shows you on how to do it. Remember always to save the die under the project folder, Fab and dies. So this concludes our video.